Well, look who decided to tune in. Welcome to the Nobody Asked Your Opinion podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan McGriff. Let's get this party started. This first episode is going to be called Side Bitches Get Stitches. That's right, I said that. Side Bitches Get Stitches. I'm surprised at myself that I'm starting with this episode. I think it's a great title. I think I'll have to bleep it out on Spotify, though. I don't think they're going to let me actually put that title up there. Uh, I think, the hope is you set out not trying to offend, but hey, we live in a world where offense happens very easily now. All right, so where am I getting that title from? I'm going to start by saying that where is my platform for side bitches? So the definition of a side piece, a side woman, is a woman who is the extra to a man outside of his marriage and or relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to even be married anymore. Um, and a lot of times these men will have a complete relationship in addition to the other relationship they have, the wife or the girlfriend, living girlfriend. Um, and what is my opinion on this? Well, it's funny. I am not a big believer in monogamy. I don't think we as people, or I shouldn't say a people, a culture. I don't think you're the staying with one person for the rest of your life. I don't know about you at home, but to me that sounds horrifically boring, even on the side of women. I'm going to be 45 this year. And 20 years ago, side women were so um, raked over the coals. Now they're actually being celebrated. Some of our biggest side pieces are going to be now Queen Camilla Parker Bowles. We're going to have Lauren Sanchez. It's been all over the news. What was her name? Raquel Levice. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Vanderpump Rules. We have at latest in the news is going to be Ariana Grande, and I guess the funniest part, women, I think majority of women have actually been in an adulterous affair. You've been the other side. You've been the wife, the girlfriend, the side piece, the other. We tend to attack each other when we or lessen the role of the woman that is that um, in that relationship. We attack them as a whole, and we say that we should be loyal to one another, sisterhood, and all that other stuff. Yeah, I, I guess. I think I don't. I'm not a big believer that sisterhood actually exists. That women as a whole, we try and support each other best as we can, but at the end of the day, we tend to, rip each other apart silently. We do it even as friends, as sisters, mother, daughter. We tend to rip each other apart. But I talk about these women. I'll start, with Ariana Grande. One of my biggest frustrations. This guy. Honestly, my only frustration with you, Ariana, is I think she's so cute. She's such a beautiful girl. She has the worst taste in men. I mean, she just picks the most unattractive men. I guess quirky would be the word. That's the kind of guy she looks for. Uh, this latest guy is starring with her in a play. And I forget it's what is it, Wizard of Oz? I don't remember. And apparently he's married with a young kid, with a baby. I think the kid's not even a year old, and they started an affair. And is it an affair? Because the wife came on and said she was bowled over, had no idea this was happening, XYZ. You know, and looking at it from all sides, I've often said sex is a barometer of a relationship. So unless that guy was coming home and, after being with Ariana, he's playing, husband and dad to her, and no negative energy towards her, but I suspect you knew something was going on. You probably didn't suspect it was Ariana Grande, but you suspected something was going on. The morning kiss stopped, or the little the little things you have in a relationship. You suspected something else had his attention. Um, but what I hate in this scenario is that the only person that's getting the blame and lashed by the news right now is Ariana. Being called a homewrecker, being called, again, the side piece. Um, uh, here's my issue with that. I really believe the men, we tend to forget that it's the person in the relationship, particularly it's going to be the man. He chose to seek out a relationship. He chose to break whatever bonds, be it marriage, be it if it's, again, living girlfriend, living partner, whatever. Um, he's looking that person in the face. I know this may sound shocking, but I don't feel Ariana Grande is the reason your marriage broke up. Um, the same for now I can't call her Queen Camilla, but Camilla Parker Bowles, haha, Bowles. And you gotta give her. She's the original side piece, and she is now queen. Not saying, ladies, you go out there and that's what the outcome's going to be. Usually if you're standing behind the power that is, you're not necessarily going to have the outcome of being, how you found him is how he's going to leave you. But for use her as an example, and again, not an insult to men. I think men are pretty simple creatures. I think they tend to go where it's easiest, where the complications are less. And I hate the term side piece because it takes two to tango, and you can't put the blame on the woman who was available and turn her into this, the whore of Babylon, and malign her in the news, and you know, act like she's sought out. Now, do some women? Abso-fucking-lutely. You have. I've been in relationships where you have women who are going to sidle up to the person that you're with, and definitely try and cause and put a wedge or a discord, or openly come on to your man. Um, you know, in my experience, and it's happened to me, um, if they if the man chooses to accept that attention, that's on him. That's not on me. You're not going to stop him. If the relationship, now, do some men cheat? Um, Regardless if their relationship is solid, if it's what, of course they do, of course they do. But then again, so do some women. What I'm talking about today is definitely the name calling and the disparaging of women who may have met the man in a different part of their relationship. Now, you look at Lauren Sanchez, um, and honestly, she's not my she's not my cup of tea. I think she needs to lay off the fillers personally, and that's not a catty remark. I just think she needs to lay off the fillers. But you know, she she is more aligned with where Jeff Bezos is now versus where his wife was. His wife met him when he was not this billionaire, this genius, this maker and man behind Amazon. And more than likely, when he walked in the house, she told him he wasn't shit. She knew him when he just owned a bookstore, a little bookstore that was called Amazon. Um, and and it's not defending um, what he did, but I think time is the killer of a lot of relationships. Uh, Lauren Sanchez came along at a time where she more matches the lifestyle he has now, and again, not my cup of tea, but I also, as a woman, I won't sit there, other than the fillers, I won't disparage her. She saw an opportunity and she took it. And at the end of the day, you can't blame her. He had, Jeff Bezos knew what he had with his wife. He chose to, let that part of the relationship go. And we evolve, we change as we get older. And you have to match where you are for life. she more matches his lifestyle now. They're sitting there cruising around on that boat. I can't hate on her. I mean, you didn't see this man out on a boat 5 years ago, taking off his shirt and working out. Um, as long as my Amazon delivery gets there and the time it's supposed to, I could care less what he's doing. Um, but, again, it's just, I don't think the side chick or the side piece should be celebrated, um, or necessarily even, for some women, even tolerated. We've had the mistress, the side. This is not a new thing. In fact, there were, hundreds of years ago, there were kept women who were kept in who were provided a house. They would have children with this man. And they were actually accepted by society. It was very popular in New Orleans, um, particularly among white men. They would keep a mixed or a triracial woman, and have a whole family, a whole another life with them. Do I support that? Yeah, I think honor comes from within. But again, what do I know? Um, but on the topic of this, I think what I only ask for, as with other women, with is for us to actually, instead of beating the woman up, put a little bit of the blame where it belongs. Um, put some of the blame definitely where it belongs, but also, let's not lie to ourselves, lady. Don't pretend like in a certain situation you might find yourself in that scenario. Life is complicated. Relationships are complicated. Um, and if you're a big believer in monogamy, and you believe that, and I wanted to talk about this on another podcast titled "Do All Men Cheat?" And the ladies, the answer is yes. 99.9% of men do cheat. You can argue this with me, if you'd like, but they do. Um, and cheating has a lot of sides to the coin. It can be spiritual, it can be mental, it can be physical, but um, for the majority of men, it'll be physical. And for women, we prefer a mental. We prefer a mental relationship, the guy who gets us. But again, I don't think you should disparage the woman. And I'm gonna start by saying I have never watched an episode of Vanderpump Rules in my life. I'm not a huge fan of these reality shows. A lot of the reality shows. I tried in the beginning. I can't. It's just they're so messy. Um, but this Raquel girl, I mean, she was everywhere. She was on TMZ. She was on the front page of the paper. People just had the worst things to say about her. Um, and you know, uh, this woman is probably going to have children at some point. I actually haven't followed if they're still together, if they're going to be together. But if if the person made their choice, let them go. And what's the guy, Tom Sandoval? I mean, let them go. At the end of this, the only person that's going to be remembered for this whole thing is going to be her. Apparently they're not even dating anymore, is what I'm understanding. They're not even dating anymore. And she's always going to be remembered in a negative, and women are going to hate her and give her a look. But again, ladies, let's not lie to each other. Don't tell me you haven't considered it. Don't tell me you haven't been in a relationship. Don't tell me you haven't been, we all want what we can't have. We covet what we want, what we cannot have. We all do it. I'm a firm believer in, if you're going to support a woman and we're going to support each other, we need to do it all avenues. And that includes the side pieces and the women who, um, as women say, you took my man. Well, honey, you can't take him if he didn't want to be took. Okay, you, you can't. It's not. You didn't wrestle him. For the girlfriend, and I've been on both sides. I've been the wife. I've been the girlfriend. Um, and I think it's funny. You look at it and you go, Wow. Okay. I don't, and I've been guilty of it too. I've been, again, I've been cheated on. And you immediately blame the woman. Like she did something different than you did. Um, like she was doing gymnastic sex in the bedroom. More than likely, she wasn't. More than likely, she just provided an experience that you couldn't provide. Either it was um, uh, 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 she wasn't picking fights, and I know I don't. I'm a firm feminist, but I'm also an honest feminist. She wasn't picking fights. She was again, men are simple. She let him walk in the house and not start nagging or driving him crazy. She just provided an experience that you stopped providing, or you never actually provided in the first place. When I say sex is a barometer, if you're withholding or choosing to not have sex with your partner, you cannot be upset if they seek it, and this goes man or woman, outside of your relationship. If you're choosing not to fulfill that part of a relationship, well, then what happens happens. Again, I've been on both sides, and if you withhold uh, you know sexual relations or just that intimacy, what I choose to do to gain that's part of a relationship. You can't hold me accountable. You can, but are you going to listen? So I think it's definitely some interesting ideas we've had over the over the past couple of years. We've had some pretty amazing, as we call them, side pieces. But you look back again, you look at Camilla, who's now the queen and the wife, and um, if he decides to step out, uh, you know, which I honestly, it's crazy. I don't think good old Charles will in this scenario. I think uh, that is who he wanted. It just, happenstance of timing and relationship. But if he happens to step out on her, she's now the wife, and then there's the side piece. And you wouldn't feel sorry for Camilla. A lot of people felt sorry um, uh, Princess Diana, because he was, and no one could understand it. You know, a lot of some women, and they look at, if you look at some of the, again, not every woman who a man chooses to cheat with is looks like, if you compare, let's say we'll go back to Lauren Sanchez. You look at Jeff Bezos' first wife. She's plain. She's not an unattractive woman, but she's definitely plain. You don't see a lot of, that you can tell what Jeff Bezos was going for with her. I suspect there was a lack of sexual connection between him and his first wife. Um, but then again, you look back at Camilla, and Camilla definitely, Diana was a beautiful woman. Camilla was was and is not. Um, but she fulfilled something mentally with him, that he looked past her physical. And so, from the other side, you have to look at what is it. It's not just necessarily a physical trait. It may not necessarily be a sexual one. It's just something that you fulfill in the other person. Um, and that's why they choose to step out. There are side men as well. I should definitely two-part this episode. There are side men as well. Um, I honestly, I don't know if I could have a side man. I'm not currently in a relationship, but if I were in a relationship, I don't know if I could do two pieces of meat at the same time. I know that sounds there goes, that's the patron talking. I don't know if I could. I'd want to. Hell is, give it a whirly twirl, but women, we're just a little bit more I think it'd be hard to be married or have a relationship or have a live in someone, and then you're going out and you're doing that. um I don't know. I mean, much respect if you can do it, if you can. I'm not encouraging cheating. I'm not encouraging stepping out of your relationship, but much respect if you can handle too. I don't know if I could. Again, that's a lot to juggle. um and balls aside, but it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle. I don't know if I could actually keep up, because I just think women are, what we gravitate towards in a relationship is more of a, is more of a mental or fulfilling factor so far as comfort and you know, um, what puts us at peace. Where, you know, not saying we're not sexual beings, we are. We're extremely sexual beings, but I just you know, again, it's a lot to juggle, particularly if you had kids or you have, you know, it's just it's a lot going on. So I don't know. I don't know. You know, I'd love. I'll put a comment section in this one. I'd love to know, or you can privately DM me. Tell me if you can, if you're juggling two men. Again, good for you. You know, I think some people just choose not to. Some people just like the excitement. You know, some women like the excitement. They can't be in a regular relationship, and they like the idea of being that other partner, because you do that illicit. You do get more attention. You do get more of their. You know, there's an excitement factor of not being taken for granted. And when you get in the relationship, it's not as it's definitely not as exciting. You know, Ariana's been accused of this multiple times. And I think she likes the excitement of the relationship, and when that fades, she moves on to the next guy. So I keep waiting for this one. This guy had been in the news that she dumped him. First, it's they step back and everything else like that. I think she likes the excitement of it, but then once they're exposed, she's like, meh. She looks at it and, you know, whatever. Um, but again, you know, I my opinion is this. I think where you choose to put your body parts is on you. I don't think that, again, women as a whole, is we should attack other women for um, being involved in something that may not look societal, like, you know, perfect to other people. And I definitely think you need to look at the man, you know, because, you know, it's funny, I don't even know this guy's name. I've seen him in a couple of things for the Ariana Grande thing, but all you're hearing about is her. It's all you're hearing about is her. The same thing for Camilla, and you know, and if you think of any of these women who have been that side piece, you only ever hear about the woman, and the man is forgiven. And back to that takes two to tango, people. But interesting subject. I should have a male side piece. I know that's definitely that's more of a that is definitely more of a thing, and I'm not going to pretend like I know enough about that. I want to. I want to, and it's something I think it's an interesting topic. I may have to bring a friend on here to give me their opinion. But I appreciate you guys for listening in. I'd love to hear your ideas, thoughts, and opinions. Again, this is the Nobody Asked Your Opinion podcast. This is my opinion, my ramblings, my rumblings. You don't have to agree, but I appreciate you listening. And on that note, I'll let you guys have a good night. Bye bye.